Hello, everybody. Welcome to another installment of Dan's Vinyl Corner. I am Dan. This is my Vinyl Corner, and today I'll be discussing what's been on my turntable in early 2022. So to get started, I've been listening to, of course, one of my favorite albums for some time, which is Velvet Underground and Nico. This is the Abbey Road Half-Speed Mastered Edition that I've recently picked up on the original Ferv Blue and Silver label. I would personally, I've been getting into Venus and Furs, European Sun, some other tracks on this album more. And I would disregard anything you hear about this particular pressing sounding bad compared to other pressings which are easily accessible to most listeners. I think this is a very good sounding copy. Introducing digital and the half-speed process into the chain really helped to clean up the poor recording quality of this particular album, and also I think helps to create a better stereo image, as they say, and bring out more of Lou Reed's details in his vocal, as well as the bass and instrumentation. So the only thing maybe is that sometimes Lou Reed's vocals are, they feel a bit drowned in the mix, but that could also be seen as the artistic intention of this album. And as I said, it wasn't particularly well recorded or mixed to begin with. But I really do think the half-speed mastering is the way to go with this one compared to, say, the typical reissue or the 50th anniversary edition. Up next, we have the original Sterling RL copy of Houses of the Holy on the Atlantic label. This one packs a punch. Anybody who's heard of Led Zeppelin 2, the Sterling RL version, this is the equivalent for Houses of the Holy. Of course, I think 1 through 4 are probably their best albums, but you're still going to get some great tracks on here, such as No Quarter, Over the Hills and Far Away, the Rain Song, which is a beautiful one, and definitely a nice addition to the collection here, and great to hear it on a hot mix. Also added to the collection was one that was recommended to me by my uncle, who is quite a Townes Van Zandt fan, and that is Flying Shoes on the Tomato label. With Flying Shoes, you are going to be getting, the title track, of course, which is, I think, about a Civil War soldier who died in battle. You'll get Dollar Bill Blues, which is one of my very favorite Townes Van Zandt songs, and apparently one of the only songs that his mother did not like that he made. And also Brother Flower. These are songs that I had all heard before on the Rearview Mirror compilation, which were re-recorded editions, but definitely great to hear these acoustic versions too. And that is an early pressing on the Tomato label, which sounds pretty nice. Good, clean copy. Also added recently to my listening library is one album which was my first Pink Floyd album, and the one that I enjoyed listening to growing up the most, which was Animals. This is an original UK of Animals, a gatefold copy here. And I will say, compared to the US version, the original US, which I also have owned in the past and heard, you are going to get much better mastering on this album, much better mastering choices. There's a certain clarity of the instruments, the precision of the attack from the guitar or the vocals, which comes through, a bass and a warm sound which fills the room but does not sound muddled. You're going to get all of that, I think, with this copy of the album. Like many of the early UK pressings of that time, it being sold, I believe, in a cardboard sleeve, and being pressed on noisier vinyl, there are parts of the album, such as at the beginning of Sheep, where you are going to encounter noise. But I've seen that on basically any pressing of this album, and this is really as good as it's going to get. If your ultimate concern is super quiet vinyl with this one, I've heard the Pink early pressings of this album are good on Pig vinyl, and also the recent Bernie Grundman edition. So Animals, definitely a great one to check out, and one that I've been listening to a fair amount. Also, as I think I had mentioned before, I felt that some of the Allman Brother records, the more recent DMM editions, were EQ'd like jazz records, so you are getting better instrument separation, and you can hear more detail on those, but they lack the punch and the directness that you should have on a rock and roll record. They sound like Japanese pressings. And so I did pick up an original US of Allman Brothers Eat a Peach here. And you're, of course, going to get Mountain Jam, which is from the Fillmore East shows, as well as, Blue Sky, Melissa, and a number of other great songs from them. Some One Way Out and some more blues cuts. If nothing else, you're going to pick this up for the great Mountain Jam on there. So, really beautiful album. One that I listened to a lot in the end of college and those times going out into the world. So very an album that I listened to a lot, an interesting time in my life, and really great one to own on the original, which smokes the DMM, and that has also been my experience with the Allman Brothers self-titled, as well as the Fillmore East version. And then to round things out here, we have a couple of the Blue Note Classics titles, some of the more recent releases, which I finally came in after about a month following their release. One is Ruben Wilson's Love Bug. This to me is it's a soul jazz record. It's a party record. It sounds like a Liberty Blue Note soul jazz record. I don't think it's a tremendous work of great artistry, but it's good playing. It's good soul jazz. It sounds great. It's an audiophile quality record, and you are going to get Stormy, which is one of those jazz fusion kind of standards that I had previously heard on Gabor Szabo's 1969 album, and you get here in a full low light smoky room soul jazz kind of style done by an American group. So I recommend checking this one out. That's Ruben Wilson Love Bug. And then also were some of the deeper cuts they did into the Blue Note catalog. One is from the Herbie Nichols Trio, The Prophetic, volumes 1 and 2, and this is this is just early avant-garde material, experimental jazz, and Herbie Nichols is one of those names in the Blue Note catalog where he was doing a lot of experimental stuff early, wanted to record with Alfred Lion for a long time, and it's nice to see something like this getting the audiophile treatment when maybe it was earlier material and wasn't recorded as well. They really cleaned it up nicely. And then finally, one in the series which was a big pleasant surprise for me was the Kenny Cox album that recently came out, introducing Kenny Cox with the Contemporary Jazz Quintet. And that, to me, sounds a lot like a late 60s Miles Davis, which is basically a Wayne Shorter album. Some great experimental and very cerebral post-bop on this album that a good jazz listener would enjoy listening to, I think. So, great albums. Those are the recent finds. And look forward to keeping you all updated with more as we move on in the year and see what comes in. So thanks very much for watching, and until next time.